news.
The gospel, the good news. And that's being brought to the children of Israel. Right? He will say unto Zion, behold, there will be one that will be given to you that bringeth good tidings. Right? That was the ministry of Yahushua, bringing good tidings to the children of Israel.
Con.
Right? You have something you want to add, Cut? Right?
Fight.
So,
Fight.
Oh, you're con.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all con.
Yeah.
All right, con. All praises, right? So we have to understand this is something that was given to the children of Israel. Right? This was prophesied for Yahushua to die for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel only.
Con.
Right? Because the Most High, He is only the God of Israel. And there's another thing I wanted to bring out. I missed the point. I jumped the gun. Now, a lot of Christians, they say, okay, Jesus died for everybody's sins, right? But what is sin according to the Bible? Let's go to 1 John 3 and 4. All right, let's go to 1 John 3 and 4. What is sin according to the Bible? All right. All right. Let's see what sin is according to the Bible.
Con, say con when you got it. 1 John 3 and 4.
Right.
All right, con. This is the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4.
Right.
Whosoever committed sin,
right,
transgresseth also the law.
For whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law. Keep going.
For sin
is what?
Is the transgression of the law.
So sin is the transgression of the law. Mm-hmm. Now, with a precept, book, chapter, verse, who was given the law? Book, chapter, verse.
Is it Psalms 147, 19 to 20?
That's right. Let's go to Psalms 147, 19 through 20. Now, let's get that, right? Now, we just learned that sin is the transgression of the law, right? Sin is the transgression of the law, right? Now, let's see who was given the law, right? Psalms 147, chapter 147, verse 19. Let's see who was given the law, right? Say calm when you got it. Say calm when you got it.
All right, con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 19.
Right.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Now, we just learned who Jacob is, right? Jacob is interchangeable with Israel, right? When you see Israel, that means Jacob. When you see Jacob, that means Israel. Keep going.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Keep going.
He hath not dealt so.
He has not dealt so. Keep going.
With any nation.
With any nation, meaning he has not dealt with any other nation as he has dealt with the children of Israel. Keep going.
And as for his judgments,
right,
they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh.
So now, if sin is the transgression of the law, and Israel was only given the law, how can everybody break a law they were never given? Right? How can the Most High now? How can Yahushua now die for sins that were not committed by the people that received the law? It wouldn't make any sense. Right? You cannot break a law you were never given.
Right.
If there was a law in Florida that says you have to be at a curfew at 10 p.m., that applies to the people that live in Florida. Mm-hmm. If someone in Georgia goes outside at 10 p.m., he would not get penalized for a law that was only given to the people that live in Florida. Right? So therefore, the people that commit those sins is the same people that Christ died for. Right? Those are the sins that he died for the people that committed those sins. Right? Let's go to John 18 and 14. I think that's what I want. Let me get it right here. All right, John 18 and 14.
Con, this is the book of John. Say Con when you got it. Con, this is the book of John, chapter 18 and verse 14.
Right.
Now Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews, that it was expedient that one man.
Who's that one man? That Yahushua should do what?
It's like you. should die for the people.
For who?
Should die for the people.
No, for all people.
For the people.
It says that one man should die for the people, right? Not for all nations, not for everybody on the planet Earth. It was already prophesied that Yahushua would die for that one nation, right? Let's go to John 11:49.
Come on. Say Con when you got it. John 11:49. All right, Con. This is the book of John, chapter 11 and verse 49.
Right.
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all.
You don't know a damn thing, right? You know nothing at all, right? Keep going.
Nor consider that it is expedient for us.
For us, the Jews, the 12 tribes of Israel, keep going.
Expedient for us that one man should die for the people.
That one man should die for the people. Not all people, the people. Keep going.
Con. Salakia.
Con.
Verse 50.
Con.
Start back at verse 50.
Con.
Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people.
Right.
And that the whole nation perish not.
And that the whole nation perish not. Why didn't it say all nations perish
or the
not?
world.
Or the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That even shows you when it talks about he shot when they go to 2 Peter, it talks about how he doesn't want nobody to perish.
Mm-hmm.
That's talking about the nation of Israel. He
Con.
doesn't want nobody out of the nation of Israel to perish. Keep going.
Con. Verse 51. And this spake he not of himself.
Right.
But being high priest that year, he prophesied
that what?
That Yahushua should die for that nation.
For that nation. Not all nations, that nation. Keep going.
Con. Verse 52. And not for that nation only.
And not for that nation only. Keep going.
But that also he should go gather together in one of the children of...
Repeat that again.
Salakia. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad.
Right, so that's what we died for. Right, not for that nation only, but the children of God that were scattered abroad. The children of Israel. Right? So when you deal with salvation, right, and who Yahushua died for, you need to have these precepts on deck so we could see and through the Spirit that this was only prophesied for the children of Israel to receive that salvation. Right? Huh? Yeah. Right. So I want to make sure we touch on a couple things. We're about to do this for a couple weeks. Just going into the Israelite one-on-one. All right, hopefully everybody learned, a little bit of something, right, or refresh their memories on a couple things, right? I want to get one more thing because a lot of people say, well, yeah, that's exclusive, brother. That's exclusive, right? Well, I mean, the Bible said he's the God of Israel, right? Next couple of weeks we're going to get a little deeper. We're going to go into the Gentiles. We're going to go into the strangers. We're going to go into the covenants. Right, we're going to go into things like that, but this is the basic understanding of what we teach. And
make sure that you revisit these videos, so that way you can get these precepts down pat.
Right,
because it's important.
Right. Let's go to one last scripture. Let's go to Joel 2:27. Joel 2:27.
Oh man, I'm over here, man. Joel 2:27.
Right, because a lot of people say, "Oh, not my God." Right. Well, the God, he's only the God of the Hebrews.
Fine.
Right. Out of all flesh, out of all creation, he is only the God of the Hebrews.
Say "Con" when you got it.
We got last scripture.
Con. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 27.
Right.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I, the Most High, your power, and none And that I am the Most High, your power, and none else.
Uh-huh.
And my people shall never be ashamed.
Right. So we are the Most High is in the midst of Israel, and He is our power and none else. Right. All praise to the Most High. Hopefully everybody was edified. Right. We're going to continue this series of Israelite 1-on-1. Right. The basics of being an Israelite. Right. What we teach, what we believe. Right. And that's the truth of the Bible. Right. Teaching the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. Hallelujah. So we're gonna jump into the portion, right? Okay. We're gonna read for the portion. Right. All praise to the Most High. All right. Give me some time. All right. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the portion is Leviticus 12:1 to Leviticus 13 and 59. Right, so we go through the portion every week, right? So we go through this Torah every year, right? So we can understand the milk, right? We have to understand the Torah that's the way of life. This is our code of conduct when you talk about the Torah, right? We're gonna start from Leviticus 12:1, Leviticus 13 and 59. Say Khan when you got it. Leviticus 12:1, Khan. Right.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 12, and verse 1.
Khan.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying,
Right.
Speak unto the children of Israel,
Right.
saying, If a woman have conceived seed,
If a woman have conceived seed, right, due to consummation, a woman have conceived seed, keep going,
and born a man child,
right,
then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation
Right.
for her infirmity. Shall she be unclean?
Right, so according to the days of separation, right? Now we have to see. Okay, now according to the law, it's going to go into detail about what a woman should do when she has conceived seed, right? Now, okay, I don't want to jump the gun, right? We're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to that, right? So now, just remember that part. This is going into the law of a woman that conceives seed, right? Verse 3.
And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Right. So in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. Right. So we're gonna deal with circumcision a little bit. Right now, who did the Most High establish circumcision with? With the precept. Oh, that's the hard one. Who did the Most High establish circumcision with? Abraham. Can I get a precept, King? Right, I got officers in the building. Right, what you got, brother Shaquat? Oh man, who did that, brother Amar? Brother Amar, Don Claude. Who did the Most High establish circumcision with? Oh, he was caught off guard, huh? You don't know what's going on, huh? Come on, King. Who did the Most High establish circumcision with? Right?
Genesis
What you got, King? Go ahead, bring it out.
17,
Genesis 17 and what?
12.
Come on, let's get there. Genesis 17 and 12. Right? You can start at you can start at verse 10.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 10.
Let's make sure everybody get there, right? Genesis 17 and 10. We gotta know this. Can you get drop that? Right? Genesis 17 and 10. Who did the Most High establish circumcision with? Right? Genesis 17 and 10. Go ahead, read that, King.
This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee.
Right?
Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Right?
And ye shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. And it shall be a token of the covenant between me and you.
Right?
And he that is 8 days old,
we just read in Leviticus, he that is 8 days old
shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed.
Keep going.
He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
Keep going.
And the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
Right, so the Most High established the covenant of circumcision with Abraham. Right? Now, we're going to go into the scriptures because there's a physical circumcision and there's a spiritual circumcision. Right? We're going to get into that, right? Let's go to Romans 2, verse 25. All right, we're going to break this down through the Spirit. Right? We have the spiritual circumcision, then you have the physical circumcision. All right? All right? All right? We go to Romans chapter 2, verse 25. Say calm when you got it.
Fine.
All right? Let's see, that is flipping. All right. Romans chapter 2, verse 25. Say calm when you got it. Con.
This is the book of Romans chapter 2, verse 25.
Right?
For circumcision verily profiteth.
For circumcision verily profiteth, meaning it does profit you to be circumcised. Keep going.
If thou keep the law.
If thou keep the law. Keep going.
But if thou be a breaker of the law.
But if thou be a transgressor of the law. Keep going.
Thy circumcision is made uncircumcision.
We don't got to go into detail, but clearly he's about to break something down about if you're physically circumcised, that's one thing. But if you break the law, that's another thing, right? Keep going.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law,
right,
shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
What does that mean? He just says circumcision about 4 times, right? Read that again, King.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
What is that talking about? What does that mean? Somebody break that down for me, right? Somebody give the sense, right? I see you cooking up something over there, Officer Obadiah. I see you cooking up.
Hallelujah.
What we got for that? All right, what does that mean? All right, so we're going to break it down through the Spirit. Now go ahead and read that again, King.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law.
If the Slaki, you was at verse 26 now? Read verse 25 again. Oh, Slaki, you was at 26. You're right, come on. Go read that again.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law.
Now, what does it mean to keep the righteousness of the law, right? To keep the commandments, right? If the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, what else does that show you? Just another segue. There's righteousness in keeping the law. The law itself is righteous, right? So, therefore, if the uncircumcision let's talk about someone that's physically uncircumcised. If the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, keep going.
Shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
Shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? Meaning what? If you're uncircumcised, but you keep the law, you are now considered circumcised. And on the other hand, if you are physically circumcised, but you break the law, what are you now considered? That's all he's saying. Right? Keep going.
And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature.
That physical circumcision, and shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature. Keep going.
If it fulfill the law.
If it fulfill the law. When you talk about fulfilling the law, that means to obey it as it should be. Right? If it fulfill the law, keep going.
Judge thee.
It would now the person that is uncircumcised but does the law, adheres to the law, judges you because what?
Who by the letter and circumcision doest transgress the law.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Read that again, Khan.
And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision doest transgress the law.
What does that mean? It says, and go. What you got? Khan. And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law. What happens to? Okay. What is somebody considered if someone's uncircumcised, but they keep the law? What are they now considered? Okay, so
Circumcised.
they're considered circumcised, right? So now it's saying, and shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law. Now, if you're uncircumcised, but you fulfill the law, meaning keep the law, what do you now consider? Circumcised, right? So we understand both understandings. If you're physically uncircumcised, but you keep the law, you're considered circumcised. If you're physically uncircumcised, but you keep the law, you're considered circumcised. If you are physically circumcised, but you break the law, what do you consider? Uncircumcised. So now, verse 27 is saying, if a man is uncircumcised, but then he keeps the law, and he sees you are physically circumcised and you're breaking the law, that man that's spiritually circumcised can now judge you because you think you better because you're physically circumcised but you're breaking the law, right? He can now judge you now, right? Keep going.
For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly.
See, this is where the spiritual Israelites come in, right? This is where you got the 13th, 15th, 16th tribe people come in. It says, for he is not a Jew outwardly. Keep going.
Neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly.
Right.
And circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Now, verse 28, it says, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. Now, verse 27 is saying you cannot condemn a man, right? Let's read verse 28 again.
Come on. For he is not a Jew, which is not one outwardly.
So it says, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. What does that mean? Does that mean you're not you're a spiritual Israelite? What does that mean? For he is not a Jew that is one outwardly. What is that talking about? Now, when the scriptures talk about the outward, the outward man and the inward man, and so you could say it's talking about the flesh. Now, when you read this entire chapter, right, this is going into someone being a hypocrite, right? This is the entire context of this. That's all he's talking about, being a hypocrite, right? He talks there just like the Pharisees. When it talks about one outwardly, right, the Pharisees, they say what they brought in their phylacteries, right? Right, they sit at the highest sections in the temple, in the synagogue.
They got a staff that go to the sky.
They got a staff that go to the sky, right? They got ZTs that fall to the ground that you can start jumping with, right? This is talking about the Jews that feel as if they're showing an outward appearance, but within they're really full of iniquity.
And another thing too, the circumcision law, you had to be 8 days old to be circumcised.
Right.
And a lot of the Gentiles weren't they were old.
They're old. They're older.
Older than 8 days old. They couldn't go back and say, let me go be 8 again, and so a lot of the Jews and Jewry at that time were like, y'all cut off, y'all can't even get circumcised.
Right.
So that was the problem Paul was going into right here.
And even if you look at these different dynasties, you talk about the Hasmonean dynasty, right? There was time periods in the scriptures as well where you couldn't even circumcise your children, right? So you got a lot of these, like you brought out the Jews and Jewry, they're looking at you crazy. Man, he can't even get circumcised. He's cut off from the congregation. But they don't understand that they're not circumcised due to the assimilation, right? Due to the Hellenization, right? So now he says, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. Let's see what he's referencing. Let's go to Matthew 23 and 28. Right? Matthew 23, verse 28. It says, for he is not a Jew that is one outwardly. Let's see what that's talking about.
Just say "Con" when you have it. Matthew 23 and 28.
Right.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 28.
Right.
Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men.
Now this is talking about the Pharisees. Now what was the Pharisees known for? They're the hypocrisy. Well, this is what Paul is addressing, not being just a Jew outwardly. Right? So it says, so read that verse again, King.
Even so ye are also outwardly Salakia. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men.
You appear righteous unto men outwardly, right? He is not a Jew from the outward appearance, but keep going.
But within,
But within, inwardly, keep going.
ye are full of hypocrisy
And what?
and iniquity.
That's what he's going into. Being a hypocrite, being full of hypocrisy and iniquity, right? But outwardly you are in your fringes, you are in your beard, right? But inwardly you're full of hypocrisy and iniquity. That's what Yahweh, that's what Paul is going into, right? Let's go to Romans 2:1. All right, Romans 2:1. So we understand this, right? That's what it's going into. It's like when they say like you putting on the front, right?
You said Romans 2:1?
Let's get the context. So he's talking about being a hypocrite, not talking about being a spiritual Israelite, man. Right? Romans 2:1.
Say calm when you have it. This is the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 1.
Right?
Therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art judgest, for wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself.
Right?
For thou that judgest doest the same thing.
What does that mean? Matthew 7:1. Right? Judge so you not
Judge not that you be judged.
Judge not that you should be judged.
Paraphrase.
Because you're gonna do the same thing. If you can't judge somebody, you got the plank in your eye, right? Brother, why are you eating pork, brother? And then you throw a ham hock on the grill. Right? You can't judge somebody for the same thing that you're doing. Right?
Go home and eat grill.
Go home and eat grill. Right? The Most High's not dealing with that type of spirit. That's what that's going into. Right? The outward man. Right? You have to make sure your outward man is good and your inward. Because the scriptures talk about a man shall be known by his looks. We understand that. But the Most High looks upon the heart. You want to see where your head at, where your spirit's at. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel 16:7. Say calm when you got it. 1 Samuel 16:7. Right? We already understand. The Most High already gave this understanding. Right? He's not looking on the outside. He's looking on the inside. He's looking on the heart. Right? He's seeing what that inward man is. Right? Because the scriptures say that outward man perish, but the inward man is renewed day by day. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel 16:7.
Say calm when you have it. It's the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16 and verse 7. I'll wait. One second. Is this the real? Con. But the Most High said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance,
Right? Don't look at his outward appearance. Don't look at his countenance. Keep going.
or on the height of his stature,
Right?
because I have refused him.
Right?
For the Most High seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance.
The man can only look on the outward appearance, right? Man looketh on the outward appearance, but keep going.
But the Most High looketh on the heart.
But the Most High looketh upon the heart, right? He
That's
looks
right.
upon your spirit, right? The thoughts of a man, right? That's the understanding of the Most High. He looks on the heart,
Con.
right?
Con. You could have like a Denzel and he wicked as hell, man.
Right.
You know, so
Con.
that's just that spirit of discernment. you
Right,
know,
con.
that's what we gotta go into.
Con. All praise. So everybody understands that, right? Now, is circumcision of the heart something that Paul just made up just now? Right? Where do we find circumcision of the heart in the Torah? Right? Let's get Deuteronomy 10 and 16. Pow, pow. All right? Deuteronomy 10 and 16. All right, Deuteronomy 10 and 16, Bubba Yeshua.
Say con when you have it. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart.
Right?
And
Read that again.
Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart.
Uh-huh.
And be no more stiff-necked.
Right, so circumcising your heart, that goes back to the Torah. Right? Making sure you're right from within.
Con.
right? And that's a daily thing we got to work on, right? Making sure our spirits is right.
Con.
That's it. What they say: check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Con. Don't
Right.
go to the doctor and say, "Hey, I'm trying to circumcise the foreskin of my heart." How can I get that procedure done?
Right. Right. So we can't take. Right. We got to understand this. The scriptures talking metaphorically as well. We can't be Bible literates at all times, right?
Con.
To circumcise the foreskin of your heart, right? The Most High said He will give us that new spirit within our heart, right? What you got,
On
Ken?
that precept,
Come on.
Acts 7 and 51.
Acts 7:51. Come on, let's get that. All right, Acts 7:51. Say calm when you got it.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 51. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart
Right?
and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Spirit, as your fathers did, so do ye.
Right. So it's saying that you need to circumcise the you're uncircumcised in the heart. To be uncircumcised in the heart meaning what? You're stiff-necked. You're stubborn. You're rebellious. Right? You go against the laws of the Most High. You go against instruction. Right? You're contrary to obedience. Right? You're uncircumcised in the heart. All right, so we already have this powerful precept, right? Just like how your fathers were, right? So that's a powerful precept, right? Let's go back. Leviticus 12. All right.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 12 and verse 3.
Right.
And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Right.
And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary, until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Right.
But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days.
Right.
And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest.
Now, why is she sending up these sacrifices? I mean, Salakia, what? Right now, what are we reading about? Like, what are we reading? Why is this happening? Why is she going through this? What just happened for her to do this? By what though? Why was she unclean? From giving birth, right? And the only way you should be setting up these sacrifices is if you just gave birth, correct? Right? If you conceive seed. Now, who else in the scriptures committed this practice this same law right here? Right? Now, this law is talking about a woman that conceives seed. She's unclean, and she has to send up these purification sacrifices. Right? Who else had to do that? The Levites was, yes, they were a part of the tabernacle to get those sacrifices, but according to this woman that conceived seed, right, she's setting up this sacrifice because she conceived seed, right? Now let's see who else did that. Let's go to Luke 2 and 22. All right, let's go to Luke 2 and 22.
Say calm when you have it.
You can start at verse 21. All right, Luke 2 and 21.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 21.
Right.
And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, or Yahushua, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished,
right,
they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Most High.
Right.
As it is written in the law of the Most High, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to the Most High, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the Most High.
Right. So in the law of the Most High,
That's deep.
that's deep, right? In the law of the Most High, this is the sacrifices that you have to send up. Now, who is doing this right now? Who's about to send them these sacrifices? Mary. Hold on. Hold on. I thought this sacrifice is only meant for women that conceive seed. So why is Mary sending them then? That means she did what? That means she conceived seed. Right? I mean, if I'm in a room of people, right?
Yes,
And if there's a room that said everybody in this room just ran a 40-yard dash. Every time if I see somebody in that room, I'm gonna say, okay, he ran a 40-yard dash. If I see somebody setting up a sacrifices that's only meant for a woman that conceives seed, I'm gonna look at this woman and say, okay, she's setting up this sacrifices because she conceives seed. We understand this, right? So that virgin birth doctrine is out of there, right? Let's go to Psalms 132 and 11. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 132 and 11.
Say calm when you have it. Khan? All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 132 and verse 11.
Right?
The Most High hath sworn in truth unto David.
Right?
He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body
Of the fruit of thy body, keep going.
will I set upon thy throne.
Now, when the scriptures talk about the fruit of thy body, what is that talking about? Your seed, your loins. Right? It said, of the fruit of thy body, right? Will I set upon thy throne, dealing with Yahushua. So Yahushua was going to come through the loins of David, right? According to the flesh, right? Let's go to Romans 1 and 3. Right, Romans 1 and 3. You got something, King? Okay. Luke 1 and 32? Okay, we will come. I'm not sure where that says up top. Come on, we can get that. Romans 1, verse 3.
Khan?
Say calm when you got it. I feel like I'm going a little bit too fast.
Romans chapter 1, verse 3.
Calm.
Fine.
Right? So we understand that I wanted to bring this out a little bit, right? So now there's a difference between the virgin birth and what's the other thing called?
Immaculate conception.
Oh, come on. There's a difference between the virgin birth and immaculate conception, right? Now, one of our scholars in the room, somebody break down the difference for me, right? What's the difference between the virgin birth and immaculate conception? All right, everybody knows what. All right, so what's the difference, right, between the virgin birth and immaculate conception? Right, so the virgin birth, right, simply teaches that Christ was going to be birthed by a virgin from a woman that never had sex. Just keep it simple as that, right? That's the virgin birth. That's all it is, right? Now, immaculate conception, that's totally different. Immaculate conception teaches that Mary was preordained, predestinated, chosen before the beginning of the earth to birth Yahushua, right? They were going to choose Mary specifically to be used to birth Yahushua, right? That's immaculate conception. That Mary was the chosen woman that was going to birth Christ. That's why when you look at these Catholic churches, what they have on their windows, right? They always have, they say Saint Mary, right? Not only do they believe that Mary was preordained or predestined to be the birth giver of Christ, which is not in the Bible, right? But they believe in something called a perpetual virginity, meaning what? Even after Yahushua was born, she never had sex, right? She never had any type of intercourse after that, right? A perpetual virginity. That's the immaculate conception. That's nowhere found in the scriptures, right? So this is and it gets deep, right? So this is the difference between the virgin birth and immaculate conception. What you got?
Didn't Mary have other kids besides Jesus?
From what I understand, it can. I think you see that in Mark Let me get that. That's a powerful point. Mark 13, 13 and 56. Let me see what this talking about. Let me get that right quick. Oh, that's not hard. I thought it was in jeez. Right, so that's a good point, right? I'm trying to find that precept talks about isn't this the son of this, isn't he the son of, something like that. But yeah, I thought it was Mark 13.
You're talking about when he was when he was asking him when he said that before Abraham I am?
No, not before. It was talking about how isn't he the son of Jesse? Isn't he the son of? Isn't his brother? Don't we know his brother and sister? Khan. But there's a scripture in the Gospels. I gotta find that later on. But
I got one for James.
Khan, you got one for James? I'll bring it up. Salakia. Matthew 13 and 55. All right, let's go to Matthew 13 and 55. That's a powerful point. All right. What does that say?
Then one said unto him, behold thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak.
Khan. Let's get into Matthew 13, right? Matthew 13 and 55.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 55.
Right?
Is not this the carpenter's son?
Uh-huh.
Is not his mother called Mary?
Right?
And his brethren, James and Joseph and Simon and Judas?
Right?
And his sisters? Are they not all with us?
He had a whole family. Right?
That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. Right? But the Christian Catholic doctrine, they gonna teach that perpetual virginity, that immaculate conception.
James is older than Yahushua.
For real?
I believe so. I don't quote me though.
Right? So we see that in the scriptures as well. Right? So all praise to the Most High. So that's a powerful point. Right, let's go back to Leviticus. Oh, well, I forgot. What was that going to? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think we finished Romans.
Romans.
Yeah, reading Romans.
I think I got to I got to verse 30.
Romans 1 and 3.
I didn't finish that. No. Oh, let's go back to Romans 1 and 3. Right, Romans 1 and 3. I'll just read it. Salakia. It says, okay.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 3.
Right.
Concerning his son, Hamashiach Yahushai, out of one.
Right.
Which was made of the seed of David, according to the flesh.
According to the flesh. Let's get Luke 1 and 32. Right. Luke 1 and 32.
Luke chapter 1 and verse 32.
Uh-huh.
Say calm when you have it. This is the book of Luke chapter 1 verse 32. He shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest.
Right.
And the Adonai power shall give unto him the throne of his father David.
Right.
And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever. And of his kingdom there shall be no end.
Right. So we see that. So he was the Son of the Highest. Right. He was the Son of the Most High. Right.
I thought they were equal.
Right. Sorry. Well, we ain't gonna get into that right now. That's gonna be another one of our Israelite one-on-ones about Yahushai and the Most High, and are they the same people, and We're going to get to that right there. That's going to be Israelite 102. Let's get a little bit deeper. All right? Let's go back to Leviticus. Go precept.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 12, and verse 7. Verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, who shall offer it before the Most High, and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female.
Right.
And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring two turtles,
right,
or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering.
Right.
And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
Well, when it says be deeper than the skin of his flesh, meaning it's going inside of his flesh and it's about to start to spread, right? He has to be pronounced unclean, right? Keep going.
If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in the sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up that hath the plague 7 days.
Now they have to make sure, okay, well, it's not deeper than the skin. The hair thereof have not turned white, but they got to shut him up 7 days before they let him out, right? They have to examine to see if that's going to grow into leprosy or not, right? So they have to shut him up because, just think about it, if they don't shut him up those 7 days, right, and he becomes unclean, he might defile somebody else, right? So they have to do that as like a precautionary measure, right? Keep going.
And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day. Behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he hath been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again.
Right.
And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh. And the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh, and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean. It is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again, and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be not turned white, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague, he is clean. The flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil, and is healed, and in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. And if, when the priest see it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil.
Right, so you can get leprosy through a boil as well. Right, if you're looking at the leprosy, that boil, and it's kind of going deeper than the skin, right? Okay, now that person's pronounced unclean, right? So this is the priest is like doctors, man, right? They're like doctors. They're examining these different things, right? So what you was going to bring up?
No, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Con, right? They're doctors, right? The priests, right? Con, keep going.
They were lawyers, doctors,
Lawyers, doctors, right?
culinary arts,
Right? Right?
baking the bread,
Right?
all
Con,
of that.
con. Right? We had, the beautified garments.
Making
right?
the garments.
Right, come on, right? So the priesthood, right? We understand why everybody wanted the priesthood, but but all praise to the Most High.
They had many talents.
We had many talents. God, we had many services. Right? You talk about the service of the congregation. This was the service of the Levites, right? Con. All right, keep going on that.
Even the music.
Even the music, con.
But the compa's all right.
Oh man, keep going now.
Good.
Con, go ahead.
Verse 20. And if, when the priest see it, behold, it be in the sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
It's like you're seeing it. It's like I'm not sure. It's getting dark, but it's not to the point where you see the white hairs and you see it's being affected anywhere else. So they have to be shut up 7 days. So just in case it does start to spread, they already got them shut up. And that they're not causing anyone else to receive that same plague. All right, keep going.
And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean.
Right, so if it's a burning boil and it doesn't spread, if it doesn't go under the skin, it doesn't create white hairs, you can still be clean. It's just a burning boil, right?
Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a to shine upon us.
And cause his face to shine upon us.
Salah.
Salah.
That thy way may be known upon earth.
That thy way may be known upon earth.
Thy saving health among all nations.
Thy saving health among all nations.
Let the people praise thee.
Let the people praise thee.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
O let the nations be glad and sing for joy.
O let the nations be glad and sing for joy.
For thou shalt judge the people righteously.
For thou shalt judge the people righteously.
And govern the nations upon earth.
And govern the nations upon earth.
Salah.
Salah.
Let the people praise thee.
Let the people praise thee.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
Then shall the earth yield her increase.
Then shall the earth yield her increase.
And Yahweh,
And Yahweh,
even our own power,
even our own power,
shall bless us.
shall bless us.
Yahweh shall bless us.
Yahweh shall bless us.
And all the ends of the earth
And all the ends of the earth
shall fear him.
shall fear him.
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushua,
the water,
the water,
the Yad,
the Yah,
Amen.
Amen.
All praises to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Most High, we give you all glory, honor, and praise. Thank you for your son, Yahweh Shai. Most High, we repent of all our sins, transgressions, and iniquities, Yahweh. I ask that you allow us to be clean and blameless in your sight, Yahweh. Continue to increase us in our faith. Continue to allow us to stay on fire for your word. Continue to seek you all the days of our life and stay on the righteous path, Yahweh. I pray for all our family members in the truth and the nation of Israel that may be sick, that may have any infirmities in their body, Yahweh. I ask that you pray that you restore them back to full strength. I ask that you remove any evil spirits, any evil suspicion, Yahweh, and that you allow them to receive your peace, Yahweh. Continue to bless us, continue to have favor upon us, Yahweh. Continue to preserve us preserve us from all evil throughout the week. Continue to give us the strength to be able to make it throughout the week, Yahweh. Allow us to be able to continue to trust in your word. Continue to increase us in your faith, Yahweh. And that our faith is set upon a solid foundation and not on sand, Yahweh. So when the storm does come, we are not shaken, Yahweh. I ask that you continue to lead us in all righteousness and all truth, Yahweh. I ask that you allow us to stay in the Spirit and walk in the Spirit and continue to grow and increase in wisdom and knowledge and understanding, Yahweh. I pray for our Muhammad's mom. I ask that you allow her to restore her back to full strength, Yahweh. That you allow us to trust in you at all times when it doesn't go our way, Yahweh. That we continue to trust in you, that we believe in you because you are your rock and you are our salvation, Yahweh. Most High, I give you all glory and honor and praise. I ask that you continue to increase us, increase the congregation, continue to allow us to increase the body, continue to allow us to build the school up for your word and your truth, Yahweh. Most High, I thank you that you allow us to continue to teach your word and to push your word, Yahweh. Most High, I give you all glory and praise by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, the water of Yad. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Come, all praise. So we're gonna have just a quick town hall meeting. We could go. We're gonna get one of them in. Yeah, we're gonna 2, 3, 3 shout. There's no power like Yahweh. great King of the universe, always doing wondrous things. Let all Israel sing amen. Amen, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Amen, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. 1, Abraham. 2, Isaac. 3, Jacob. 4, brothers wake up. 5, to reality. 6, nationality. Hit it. Israel, 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 Israel. Late at night when I'm sleeping and my spirit starts to creeping in my bones, in my bones, in my bones. When I get to heaven, when I get to heaven, people gonna say, how'd you earn your living? How'd you earn your living? How'd you earn your pay? How'd you earn your pay? And I replied with a little bit of anger. I replied with a little bit of anger. I earned my living as an Israelite ranger. I earned my living as an Israelite ranger. I carry my Bible by my side. I carry my Bible by my side. I'm gonna carry my Bible till the day I die. Gonna carry my Bible till the day I die. Israel, 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 Israel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. Hallelujah. 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 Whoa. Standing tall, looking good. Standing tall, looking good. Preaching to the neighborhood. Preaching to the neighborhood. Standing tall, looking good. Standing tall, looking good. Preaching to the neighborhood. Preaching to the neighborhood. Hallelujah. All praise, all praise. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do appreciate everybody for tuning in. All praise to the Most High. Continue to donate. Continue to pray for us. Continue to keep the faith. Stay in the spirit. All praise to the Most High, to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Hallelujah.
Shalom. Hallelujah.
All praise. All praise. All praise. What happened? All praise. Wow.
Bro, I could not.